My historical fiction topic: the U.S. Colored Troops, specifically the 51st Massachusetts Regiment. As you can tell, my story takes place in the Civil War, which initially started in 1861 and divided the U.S. over the issue of slavery. The North, who called themselves the Union, didn't want slavery and wanted to keep the U.S. together, while the South, who called themselves Confederates, wanted to make their own Confederate States of America and keep slavery alive. In this time period, whites believed that blacks shouldn't join war since blacks were less than whites, they couldn't fight as well, and they were meant to be slaves. Even if free blacks wanted to join, they weren't allowed to, which is straight up racism, but this soon does change. In 1862, when Abraham Lincoln, our president at the time, gets an idea and declares the Emancipation Proclamation that looks like this, but since nobody can understand that old-fashioned English, it just translates to freeze all slaves in the rebelling states and that blacks can now fight in the war, which is great because now free blacks can join the Union. Free blacks flooded the North wanting to volunteer in the army. Blacks didn't only come from the North, but they also came from the South and West, and soon after, the Bureau of Colored Troops is established to facilitate the recruitment of African Americans in the Union Army. Soon after the proclamation in 1863, Governor John Andrew of Massachusetts was given permission to raise an African American regiment, and he created the 54th Massachusetts Regiment, which is the first ever African American regiment of the North, and more than 1,000 free blacks were in this voluntary infantry. In 1863, the 54th Regiment was sent to take Fort Wagner, which was a very strong fort located on Morristown, South Carolina. And the general was Robert Gould Shaw, who led the 600 strong and well-trained soldiers to the fort. Well, first, sadly, General was killed early in battle, but that didn't stop the 54th Regiment, and they continued to fight bravely and went on in an impressive way. 246 Union soldiers were killed and 36 Confederates were killed, which leads to the disappointing fact that the Union did not win the battle or take the fort, and the Confederates won. To wrap things up on a good note, the 54th Regiment's brave fighting proved that blacks could fight as well as whites, which is why they're remembered today. And that's the end.
Created using Powtoon.